Hey everybody. So this is going to be the second Captain's Log. We did one previous where we talked about the different direction that we're taking with the channel. What I'm planning to do is doing these Captain Logs videos maybe every other video, every 2-3 videos, something like that. This just seemed like a good point to go ahead and do the Captain's Log video. I'm not 100% sure on what we're going to do with these Captain's Log videos. I just know that they're probably a good idea for maybe some feelers and kind of discuss what's going on with, getting to know the artist kind of situation, and doing, we can talk about some topics and things like that. I started working on a xenomorph figure for my son because I'm wanting to make him a xenomorph suspended in a tank kind of statue. I mean, it's the iconic thing for the Alien franchise. So I wanted to make one just because, I mean, he's a big fan of the sculpting that I do. And I just wanted him to have a piece, if anything was to happen to me, that I made just for him. Then I kind of went on a tangent, and I'll go ahead and show you guys if you haven't seen it on our social media accounts. I've been posting pictures of it. When you're doing like an art piece based on someone else's intellectual property, there's the ethical question you have of yourself of like, well, I don't want to monetize this, I don't own this intellectual property, but at the same time it's like I did I did really good on this, having to want to make this for my son for Christmas. I had an awesome idea of actually creating like Christmas ornaments based on the sculpts that I'm doing. And if you go out to Etsy, I mean, if you search up xenomorph or alien, you're going to get bombarded with just counterfeits and things that people have made, which is fine and all. I'm not like crapping on the people who do that. I'm not saying it's not art or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's really hard to be taken seriously and selling the intellectual property of someone else, which is something I'm striving for. I want to be taken seriously, and there's tons of great artists out there that I love. Beast Wreck is one of them. He has done a couple of, a lot of his work is, based on pop culture. I'm a big pop culture nut. One of his shirts, it's got the chest burster on it. It's also, there's another one of a pin-up alien xenomorph queen, and it's really cool. But at the end of the day, who is it now? I'm guessing Disney owns the franchise, which is notorious for being, one, the cause of things not going into public domain as easy as they used to, and also being known as the company that will come after you for doing fan art. I would really like to put out the xenomorph as an ornament, or even sell it, because I can make molds of my sculpt and kind of change it around. My idea that I wanted to put a Santa hat on them and have like the Santa beard, but the beard's like hanging down. And I thought it would be really cool. It would make it an awesome ornament. I eventually just decided not to. I might change my mind because I do that quite often. But it started to dawn on me exactly why a lot of people do sell fan art of whatever medium that they use. Whenever I was on Etsy and I looked up custom monies and just monies in general. And you look and you notice that none of them are selling. Like there's some that are on there that I've seen years back that are amazing quality and a great price, and yet they're not selling because one, people don't know what monies are. So you're putting that money tag hashtag or however Etsy does their querying, but you're putting money into their search engine, and it's not you're not no one's putting money into the search engine is the problem. Even if you put in art toy, you're more likely to come up with other things than just a money, and usually a money is the last thing it'll come up with a search of an art toy. So I totally understand. For instance, the ant farmer idea. If I was to put the ant farmer up on Etsy and put in there that it's a money, it's an ant farmer, it's a sculpture, that kind of thing, those are all words that aren't going to be searched up very regularly. And a lot of people, what they'll do is, they will do other intellectual property because it's just what people want. You have fans that are fans of these genres and intellectual properties like Alien and Harry Potter and things like that. So it's really easy to fall into that want to make money and to drive people to your ideas. Like, for instance, for me, I use D&D memes to really drive people to my ideas, because all of my work that I do is fantasy based. So logically speaking, people who like D&D are going to like my art style. I'm not doing anything realistic. All of it's fantasy based, kind of things that you might encounter in a D&D campaign or something like that. And those D&D memes, more than likely, are created by somebody that's not me. So I do use those to drive people to my content. So, like I said, it's really easy to fall into that idea of doing that. One thing I've really tried to do is, I love D&D. I'm a huge D&D nerd. I've been trying to cut back on the amount of not my content that I'm posting, mainly on Instagram and on here, because I have D&D meme compilations that I have on here, but at the end of the day, that's not me creating something. That's me just posting something someone else has created. So anytime I get 1,000 views or 13,000 likes on a post, and it's not my content, it's on my account, but I'm not enjoying that. You can see most of the posts on my Instagram of my sculpts do not get that much attention. They get like 23 likes or something like that, and I'm pushing 3,000 followers, and it's just crazy to me. Either people, one, I'm not making good content of my own. Two, I am just getting tons of bots that are liking my pages just based on the amount of hashtags I'm using or something. Social media is just a crazy concept to me, and trying to straddle it and use it as a tool for your own use. Yeah, intellectual property, it's so interesting to me, and I get it, because if I made it really big and everything, I don't want my ideas to be used to make someone else money. and it would suck at the end of the day for them to be using my content. But I mean, it gets my name out there, so it's kind of the nature of the beast, and it's not going to change anytime soon. I don't claim that my work is like something that anybody would want to copy in the first place, but nonetheless, I enjoy it, and I'm at a point in my life that I create things for my enjoyment, and for my kid to look back on and say, hey, that was my dad, that was his state of mind, that was his belief at that point. He has some good points, and if I inspire people along the way, that would be great. But as long as I'm doing what I want to do, kind of thing, then that's all that matters. And I really follow another big artist that I'm a big fan of is Macbeth, and he's not well known, but he literally he doesn't do much commission work. Like if a company hires him to make a commercial or make some kind of graphic for their advertising campaign, he's like, hey, that's fine and all, but I'm going to do it my way. And that's definitely how I can see myself being. And I totally believe that it's being said from a point of I'm glad I have a position that I'm not dependent on the money, the revenue coming in from my work. There's artists out there that literally they have to do commissions, they have to do what someone else is telling them so they can make a living, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm just glad that I'm privileged enough to where I'm not dependent on money coming in from my work. So at that point, it would be a nightmare to deal with, because at this point, if I wanted to, I could close down the channel, I could close down my Instagram, I could do sculpting in my own time, and it would literally be the same. Recently, I did set up my Etsy, which I had before, but I wasn't doing great at it, so I didn't bother with it. But I'm hoping that these videos and sculpting, doing the videos of sculpting will really drive people to my Etsy page. Another person that I kind of want to shout out is Craftsman. If you haven't ever seen his channel, highly recommend it. And one of the things that he did was he sculpted this little chicken figure, and he went and made a mold of it, and he made a mass quantity of them and sold them on his Etsy page. And they did so well because he did the video of him sculpting it, and people got involved with him, and there was a connection. He didn't even he never shows himself on camera, and yet you have this connection with him, and he just seems like one of the most like Bob Ross level inspirational people that I've seen. Right now, the only thing there is Tug Knuckles, and that kind of ties into the whole Captain Tatterflag origin story per se. So Captain Tatterflag is an orc rogue subclassed into swashbuckler, and he was a character that I played in D&D for a while. He's definitely not my first character. Being named Justin Smith, it's such an ordinary name, so I was like, what I'll do is I'll adapt Captain Tatterflag as my persona for my artwork. So there's the origin of that. I came up with this little character Tug Knuckles. So this is kind of like the sidekick of Captain Tatterflag. And that one that you just seen, that one I hand sculpted. But I also have a 3D resin printer, and I used it to, well, I had to use Blender to create what I sculpted into the machine because I didn't have anything fancy to be able to scan it. So it's not like a one-for-one representation of the one I sculpted, but it's the same idea. A friend of mine that we play D&D with, he actually commissioned me. He wanted a Tug Knuckles, so the albino one was the one I came up with, and the picture on the Etsy page of that albino was the first one I created and sold to him. I was at that point that I was like, okay, so if he showed interest in Tug Knuckles, then everybody else probably likes him. And Tug Knuckles, I did come out with a series of mini figures that I'll probably, once I do some revamping, we'll probably release them again. They're 3D printed as well, and there's like 20 of them or something like that. And I was going to do blind packs kind of thing, but I might just make them bigger and do some videos on each individual one. Tug Knuckles was one of those characters, and they were called Knuckles, so I just went with naming him Tug Knuckles. But he's over on the Etsy shop right now. I have the albino version, which is the one that a friend of mine had purchased from me. And I'm also going to do the original color scheme, which is this one. I don't currently have one of the 3D printed ones done in the color scheme, the original color scheme. So once I get that done, I get a picture of that, and maybe get one to where I can sell it. It'll be on there. I'm also going to do little mini versions of them as well. Currently we have the albino one and a blank version. And the reason I made the blank version was because I love money so well. You can see them all back there on the shelf. I wanted to create a blank version that you can kind of decorate and play around with. However, design your own Tug Knuckles the way that you want them to look. The color schemes you can add to them. You can drill into the resin. I'd be careful because you might break it apart. But you can drill into it because that's how you get the little pirate ship to sit on top of its head. Another thing, though, real quick. So most of the channels that do the sculptures, like Jack Creates, and I think Mini Bricks is another one. They release their videos I think once like every month or twice a month, something like that. So they do start to finish in one video instead of breaking it up into separate videos. So if anybody sees this and you watch the other videos, if you would just leave in the comments or contact me directly and let me know if you like it staggered out like that, video every week, or if you would like to see 2 videos a month kind of thing, with us doing from start to finish on the project. So for instance, with the ant money, currently we're looking at probably going to have 3 videos in total just based on this guy, painting and everything else. So with the other way of doing things, it would just be one really long video from start to finish kind of thing, which we can do. Another thing, I've been having fun with the thumbnails. I know some people are probably going to be upset that there's not an actual representation in the thumbnail of what I'm making, but I feel like it helps. I hate to say that it's clickbait, but it helps drive you to look at the video and see what I'm actually making. But like I said in the first Captain's Log, I'm open to any suggestions. I'm here for you guys. I do it for me mainly, just to have something to do. If I'm going to be sculpting, I might as well be making videos about it, and that way I can look back on it later on, or maybe I'll help somebody out with learning a new skill, or maybe they just want to look at it. But I hope you guys like the video, and if you're not, go ahead and subscribe, and there's a little notification bell. If you don't select it, you actually don't subscribe. It's super stupid. Glad that you're here, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Later.